For decades, 20th century education operated on a single assumption, that the human mind is a passive, empty vessel waiting to be filled with facts. This rote memorization model fails to account for the actual mechanics of thought. It cannot explain how we innovate, solve novel problems, or grasp abstract realities. Jerome Bruner arrived to challenge this behaviorist illusion. Known as the father of cognitive psychology, he argued that learning is not a matter of absorption. To Bruner, learning is an active, constructive process. We do not simply take in the world, we build internal representations of it. The human brain actively encodes incoming data into distinct, usable formats. To improve how we teach and learn, we must deconstruct the three distinct mechanical modes the brain uses to perform this encoding. Bruner identified three layers: the inactive, then the iconic, and finally the symbolic. These stages provide a structural map for cognitive development, moving instruction away from repetition and toward a logic of how the mind actually grows. Human cognition begins with the inactive stage, Tahap inactive, which dominates the first 2 years of life. At this age, the brain lacks a vocabulary and has no capacity to hold mental pictures. Instead, knowledge is stored as muscle memory and physical action. The child's hands and gross motor movements act as the primary data sensors for the brain, creating a constant physical feedback loop. Meaning is acquired strictly through manipulation, by holding, dropping, or shaking an object. A child does not possess a definition for a rattle. They only understand the specific motor sequence required to produce its sound. This purely physical processing is often alien to the adult mind, which is accustomed to relying on abstractions. But this inactive layer is the biological bedrock, the physical body acting as the mind's first hard drive. Between the ages of 2 and 4, the brain initiates a major cognitive upgrade known as the iconic stage, Tahap iconic. This phase introduces the ability to generate and hold a mental image in the mind. This shift means the brain is no longer tethered to real-time interaction. It can remember an object even when not physically present. Learning moves from physical touching to visual recognition. The child stores information through pictures, saving the shape and color of these books to memory. Despite this upgrade, the system has limits. The mental image must still physically resemble the real-world object it represents. This visual bandwidth allows the child to categorize the world at a much higher speed, as they no longer need to physically touch every new object they encounter. The iconic stage grants the mind its first internal canvas, allowing it to run offline simulations of the world. The final tier of Bruner's architecture is the symbolic stage, Tahap symbolic, developing primarily between the ages of 4 and 7. Symbols are radically different from icons because they are completely arbitrary. The word block shares no physical characteristics with these toy blocks. The physical and visual reality of the object is eventually replaced by abstract typographical symbols, letters, numbers, and syntax. The primary sensory input shifts to auditory processing and spoken language as the learner acquires massive amounts of data through words. This allows for cognitive compression. A single symbolic equation or sentence can encapsulate a physical structure that would take hours to build inactively or draw iconically. Symbolic abstraction is the ultimate tool that allows humans to manipulate invisible concepts like time, mathematics, and philosophy. The symbolic stage completes the cognitive architecture, providing the abstraction required to manipulate concepts that have no physical form. To teach highly complex ideas effectively, we must align our methods with this natural cognitive architecture. Bruner's practical solution was the spiral curriculum spiral. The spiral dictates that any complex topic can be taught to anyone if it is first introduced at the inactive, physical level. The curriculum then revisits the same concept months later, upgrading the delivery to the iconic level through diagrams and visual models. Finally, the concept is mastered at the symbolic level using pure mathematics or complex text. This is the mechanism behind discovery learning. It is the deliberate, engineered movement of a student up this specific cognitive spiral. Standard rote memorization fails because it attempts to force symbolic data into a brain that has not yet built the inactive or iconic scaffolding required to support it. Mastery of a subject is achieved by translating data through the right cognitive layer at the right time.